Good evening everybody, it's your old pal Overland Metalhead here. Hope you're all doing well in this tough times of lockdown, self-quarantine, because of the whole unicorn thing. Thanks Gabriel Traveller for advising me not to mention the epidemic we're going through now, as YouTube are really demonetizing people's videos as we mention this stuff. So, if you can tell by the way where I'm filming now, I'm no longer in my London house. The last few weeks have been rather tough for me. Okay, so we all get back to the Monday the 16th. So Monday the 16th I got a call basically saying we're going to be close the cafe I work at for a week and stuff because of the current situation. And this is way before Bojo put the lockdown on the Friday of that day. So basically, I was living in this house, my landlady was a huge doubter, saying, oh, if you go back to work, you won't be able to take a bus, or you won't be able to take a train, there'll be no transport. Oh, I don't want you to take your money for April because you might not be able to survive and stuff. And I've been with this lady for 14 months. Now do you remember where I'd been from? I'd been in the UK for many years, but since I left Birmingham 3 years ago, I've never really properly had a tenancy agreement, or I've never really had a place of my own. I mean, yeah, I've had my own room and stuff, but I've always been what you consider a lodger. Now, I was in this house with this lady since January last year, and I was away for only 4 weeks last year due to my travels, but I had to move out last July because she was doing some work, and then I moved back in after my Lebanon trip. My landlady basically says she may have to go away because of her medical things, she was below the whole cutoff of the 70, she wasn't 70 yet. But she basically says, I think it's in my best interest if you find someplace that's cheaper and that you knuckle down there for the next few weeks until it all blows all over. So by the end of the week, my boss basically said, we're going to reopen on this day, on the 23rd of March. They said, we're going to reopen. So I packed up all my stuff in 2 bags, moved out of my house, took a train to work, and worked for a couple of hours. Only 6 people came to the cafe to order coffee. They weren't interested in any food, even though we had a decent supply of food. So the next day we basically realized it's not really going to be good to be opening like this, people not coming in, let's just shut for an indefinite period of time. So I basically thought to myself, I've got to get out of London. I've got to move away from London because there's so many of these unicorn cases that are happening in London. And then on the same day as the cafe closed properly, the hostel I was staying at basically said, if anybody has any relatives I could stay with, please leave. I do have relatives in the middle of England, a cousin, and I got cousins in Newcastle and Guernsey, but they were all self-isolating because of their age, and I didn't want to go near them. So then, basically the hostel, lady says, you can stay here until the 1st, because I was booked to the 1st and stuff. And then I thought, after the 1st, I'll just go somewhere else. Right? I was also even looking into paying rent for a room in London, paying the same amount of money I pay a month in London. Just basically just knuckle down this place. But then, I thought, I need to leave London, because I was really sick and tired of staying in this hostel. I've stayed in hostels for a whole year, within 2017, 2018, but, there's something with Italians whom I don't always get along with all the time, due to, personal ancestral history, because my great-uncle fought in Libya in World War II and was shot in the lung by an Italian, and I've never got along with Italian people. These Italian people were just being like loud mouths and stuff, just like talking in the dorm roof, and I'm like, shut up! This isn't a conference center, okay? You gotta be quiet. So then, I knew there was one city I could move back to, and that's a city I left in a bit of disgrace a couple of years ago, Birmingham. So I moved to Birmingham, moved into this lady's house. I'm gonna stay here until the end of the month, and then I'm just gonna like move out and like move somewhere else in the UK, and then buckle down there. And while this is still happening, I'm still earning a wage. I'm still getting on the whole thorough plan that the Bojo says. The old papers is 80% of the wages and all. So I kind of think by the time this whole lockdown thing is all over and we all go back to our works and stuff, a lot of us lazy people who have not been going to work, been staying at home and all, I kind of think we're really going to be a little bit rich and though. But we still got to pay a lot of stuff, pay like rent and stuff and all that, but then there are a lot of people who are also affected by this, who are threatened of getting kicked out of their homes and all, but you can't. By law, like the day I moved out of that house, there was a rule saying you can't kick tenants out because of it's unconditional and stuff, you know. And then also you shouldn't be able to be closing hostels because a lot of people I know in London, a lot of foreigners will spend a whole amount of time living in youth hostels before they get a place of their own. And like I only spent a whole year in London hostels many years ago because I lost trust in like the renting game. So right now, this is my place in Birmingham. I've only been outside to get food 4 times this week. That's my only reason for going out. Like there's a shop across the road, but food's really expensive. So I have to go to a Tesco's, I've got to go to Aldi, or even a Lidl and stuff. Just like walk there, buy my stuff, and then walk back home. And then, so if I go out one day, I don't go out the next day. So I just stay at home, like I'm working on another book I'm writing about. There was some travels I did a couple of years ago on the Trans-Siberian, so hopefully I should get that done in this whole unicorn lockdown time frame. I'm actually an asthmatic and all. I've been a mild asthmatic all my life, and I got like a lot of medical health conditions and all that stuff, which are more internal rather than external. Like, I take medications like with water, but like I'm always in need of having an asthma puffer nearby. Like, I'm not like saying, oh, I'm wheezy, I need to have my asthma puffer now. Oh, like this. It's not like that. It's more like, oh, it's morning when I wake up. It's time to take this. Oh, it's afternoon. Time to take this. But I'm mainly just taking this whenever like I need to and all. Now, I'd advise you all for a few things to get by in this like tough times. Like, 1, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. And always remember to try to turn off the taps with a paper towel. 2, you would be best to disinfect. If you're in a shared house, best to disinfect the toilet seat, the toilet handle and button, and the taps every time you use it. Stay indoors unless you have to go out for food, or unless you're going to work, if you have a job, or if you're going to have to exercise. And if you can, it's best if you like wear a mask and gloves and going out. Like, if you can't have that because there's a short supply of masks and gloves, just don't touch your face. Like, you go out, you buy food, you come home, you run all of the packets, like you give all your food products a wipe down. You can just wash some fruit and all. But let's just saying, alright, if this was a bag of chips, I'd be running the bag of chips closed under hot water for at least 20 seconds and then give it a wipe over. Hand sanitizer is best if you can get a hold on. I mean, this one I paid £5 for last week, only a small bottle. So to me, this is like liquid gold. And and also keep yourself occupied and all. I mean, there are a lot of people on YouTube who are doing some smart things and ridiculous things. I've been singing a bit on my Instagram account, doing a bit of ridiculous rapping to Beastie Boys songs, even though I don't really appreciate rap music. And also, if you think of asking this question like this, you think like, oh Martin, wouldn't it be best if you go back to your country of birth, Australia? The chances are no. Alright, I've not lived in Australia for 4 years. So any of this money ScoMo is handing out right now, I'm not going to get because I've not lived and worked in Australia for 4 years. And there's like going to be no incentive of any Australians who are living abroad who have fled back to Australia during this crisis. ScoMo's not going to give them a hand saying, hey, welcome back to Australia, hey, here's some money and all. Right, I have to stay in the UK because, one, I'm a British citizen, two, I've got a duty to go back to work when they tell me to, and three, the government is paying my wages. Just like the time when the government gave me some benefits when I was unemployed, in that time period of 2017, between April and June, I got by thanks to JSA payments. But then again, I was like living in a youth hostel, so it wasn't so bad. Yeah, so, but then I was supposed to travel this month, so I was supposed to go to Ghana for a period of 10 days, and I said the only way it's going to stop me from going is if A, the Brits close the borders, or B, the Ghanaians close the borders. And the Ghanaians have closed the borders to people who are from a country with over 200 cases, so if you're from Europe, tough luck, you won't be going to Ghana. I even check flights every day from Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted, and even Birmingham, and like they're only going to small countries and small destinations, like even Brazil, Singapore, Australia, Qatar, even Budapest and Bucharest. Yeah, so we all can't travel at this time, which kind of makes me realize like this really rather sucks having to stay at home. But there were worse times in my life when I didn't travel. When I was like 28, I didn't travel at all. Like when I was 27, I went to a handful of countries in Europe, and my last one was Bulgaria, my 30th. And I didn't get to my 31st country until I was 29 in December 2014 when I went to East Timor. Reasons being, I wasn't working hard, I was paying for sex, and I just didn't have any motivation to go out overseas because it's not that I couldn't afford it. It was just really a tough time. But now I can't travel because there are limits that have been set in. So once those limits are going to be broken down, when the whole thing is because of vaccine, when cases are dropped and we're health is safe and we're well again, people will be travelling just like that. They'll just be rushing to the airport, begging to get out. And they'll be wanting to go to all four corners of the world once everybody else starts reopening the borders. So in this tough times, pray, meditate, be thankful that you're alive. Because the death toll is just going to keep on rising and rising if we don't take actions. So if I'll say, stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives. Stand by what they mean. I'm Metalhead. Take hold of the flame, keep heavy metal alive.